Again, as a person that went in blind, say was going in blind day of figuring out what movies would I like if I've never seen any of the other installments. This one, Housefull 5, as you can tell, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't seen any of them. And this one, that third dance act, ooh. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Housefull 5, which is about pretty simple premise. We have three people that are faking to be jolly because if they're jolly, they get the 69 million pound inheritance. But while on the cruise ship, people start dying, and we got to figure out it's a who done it with cops, Interpol, family, lawyers, other people on the cruise ship, and shenanigans will ensue in this dark-ish comedy that is pretty lighthearted at the same time. So, did I like this film? To me, it was kind of all over the place. I think there were elements where I was laughing. There were some elements where I was cringing, and not in a good way. Some elements I was kind of like, okay, this scene's going on for far too long. The stupidity of the people. But then the whodunit aspect of who could have been, you're like, okay, that works. I've never seen it told that way. So this, like I said, this is a mixed bag, through in and through out. So let's talk about the negatives first. Some of the comedic elements don't work, over the top, are just ridiculous. Especially where the scene where the cops come, they're kind of doing the whodunit, and the stupidity of not knowing who this body is, which when you think about that, it still doesn't make sense how two of the three just would not know as well. Also, there's a scene about a tire tread where it's just like, you can't know where the tire tread is unless you put someone on the ground. And you're like, oh, of course, we'll just go up that way. So there's just little things like that where it tries to be funny, but it's almost like Three Stooges to a point, or Dumb and Dumber. And you're just like, but it constantly goes, and it goes, and it goes, and it goes. And some scenes you're just like, okay, we could cut this joke 30 seconds, and we could do that for multiple scenes, and you could probably cut a good 20 minutes out of this movie to get rid of that just shenanigans ensuing, like things that just don't push the story forward whatsoever. Also, like I said, some of the character acting is fine, but all at the same time, you're just like, oh my god, just shut the fuck up. Especially there's one jolly character who's an idiot, and you're just like, every time he talks or he tries to do this like thing about confusing characters, like, no, it's this person. No, this. And it just didn't work on any scene. Who is the one with the ponytail? Like, it was just like, no, I wasn't finding this funny. And every time it would just keep going, though. And going. And going. You're like, just stop, please. Just stop. And when it did stop, it was like, okay, finally, good. The actual look of the movie, I thought it was pretty good. It felt like there was a lot of elements they were actually filming on a cruise ship. Because you could tell by the life rafts on like the fourth or fifth deck where it would be to drop them in if the cruise ship did sink. And also other elements where I'm like, hey, they did a pretty good job. But other elements are like, yeah, the hallways for the cruise ships are never that wide. They're usually skinnier. But, of course, maybe these massiver ones have bigger hallways. But, I'm complaining about production design elements. Also, about how some people die and how they got there doesn't make sense to a point where you're just like, again, some gags are told like 2 or 3 times, and it gets a little bit old. Okay, so there's kind of the bad, is like I said, drags a little bit. Some comedic elements go far too long, or some of them aren't funny, and some of the acting of some of the people, you're just like, yeah, just stop this whole shenanigans ensuing, especially like a gag about, a sauna in the kitchen, like little things like that were really stuck to me, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't work at all. Okay, for the positives, though, the dance sequences in this movie were probably the most engaging I've seen in quite some time. Maybe they were engaging because the women were... I was like, usually sometimes dancing's going on, and I'm like, I'm like the only one in the theater. I'm like, let me put my phone. This is a good 3-minute break. Here, I'm like, I ain't pulling out my phone. I ain't gay. Like, I was just like, oh my Lanta, these women are gorgeous. And it was like that one. Even the first one, we're on the cruise ship. I was like, the fourth one was more of a comedic element one, which kind of took me out of the movie, but I understand they're trying to make it a little bit fun, but that one did take me out of the movie. Let's put it that way through and throughout. There was a good action stunt in London, I'll put it that way, which with Indian movies, unfortunately, a lot of their action set pieces are CGI heavy. But this one did have a good car ramp scene and the action explosion, which of course there was some CGI with the fire. But the overall aspect of it was like when the explosion did occur, I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. Also, though, like, then I think about the British cops now, and I'm like, UK's a lost cause. Let's put it that way. A lost freaking cause. So, threw in and throughout on that level. All right. Some of the comedic elements, though, in this movie do work. And there was moments where I was laughing. I was like, okay, that shit funny. That's funny. That's kind of a gag I haven't seen before and works through and throughout. And I was pleasantly surprised on that level. But, of course, when you look at a 2-hour and 45-minute movie, you do expect some gags to work and some you haven't seen before. Also, the whodunit aspect. From what I'm hearing, there's like two endings, like a B and A side of a disc or a vinyl. Clue kind of did the same thing as well as other elements. This one, I think the whodunit part does kind of work, where there are elements in who they thought did it and things that do correlate to the end of the film. I'm like, okay, that kept me second guessing, because usually when something like that happens, you kind of forget about that character because you're like, there's no way that happened. There's no way that happened. So you're like, yeah, pretty good whodunit about me guessing about who it is. I guessed one of them, two of them, three of them, four of them, five of them. That's for you to find out, because I did guess a couple of things that were going to occur. But then when you really do look at that, you're like, how someone got blood on their shirt, you're like, so you're telling me the killer didn't see that person at all? Because cruise ships are really, really light up, so you would see everything on that level. Anyway, through and throughout on that level. I just said that twice in a row. Kind of getting repetitive like this movie was with some of the jokes. Anyway, overall, Housefull 5, I was happy with it. I mean, the parrot scene was funny. The monkey scene was funny. There were things in this movie where I was dying laughing. But again, other scenes where I'm like, oh God, just stop. But I think I'm giving it more of a positive review because of the whodunit aspect. And I think as a person, like I said, this is their only first time going into this movie or this series. Maybe it's dragging for people that are like, okay, we need to stop and kill it. Kill it! But I have to give it a little bit more positive for that third act or third dance sequence. Housefull 5 will receive a 3.5 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 70%. Which the critics and user scores gave this one. Critics were at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 negative, 2 positive. So that's in like the 33-ish%, if I'm not mistaken. 28%. So I was a little bit off, 28.5%. And the audience score, there's fewer than 50, but if I'm going down, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 2.5 out of 5. Someone said I watched 5B. Okay, I don't know the difference. We see another face behind the mask at the end. A good idea. So A doesn't show another person or peoples, and B does. I guess I'm glad I saw the B side, I guess, right? Anyway, my 70. Oh wait, my 70 and the 28 from critics. Chase out here the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. I know this Futontopia. You Blue Futon saying watching a great day. Watch this tape tomorrow, week from a month, and a year from now. I'll freaking one of you. And Mickey just came for his pets. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You want that belly rub? That belly rub. Belly.